Good afternoon and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 149, and I'm continuing the stories of 1001 Arabian Nights. And we're continuing the story of the fisherman. And fisherman is a little bit out of the story right now. So maybe we should be calling this story The King of the Black Isles. Now, remember, the Sultan had gone in search of what was really going on, and he ends up meeting the king of the Black Isles, who is half a person and half a marble block. And the king of the Black Isles is telling the Sultan his story. He continues, "My father died, and I succeeded him as king. And I married a beautiful princess. And for many years we were happy, and I felt certain that she loved me deeply. But it seems I was mistaken. One day I was being fanned by a couple of my servants, two women, and they thought I had fallen asleep, and they began talking between themselves, and they said, 'Isn't it a pity? Our mistress no longer loves our master.' And the other said, 'Yes, it is so sad. I guess she has found love elsewhere. What is to happen? Who knows?' Well, I could not believe what I heard, and I did not let on that I had heard, but I began to watch carefully. And I watched my wife and saw that she had taken a liking to a favorite servant of hers. I punished him severely for a great crime. Mortally, I wounded him. And my wife was distraught. She begged me to allow there to be built a mini palace, a small building within the gardens, where she could watch over and take care of this dying body of her favorite servant. And for 2 years, she watched over him, every day tending to him, every day wishing that he would say something, and in all that time, giving me no attention at all. Her love was clearly in another place. Well, after those 2 years, it just seemed clear that nothing was going to happen. The one thing that I am so remiss to even share is that when those servants who had been fanning me had shared with me the information that they did, they had said that she was an enchantress. And they thought for certain that if she could, she would kill me. I couldn't wrap my mind around this. I couldn't believe it was true. After those 2 years, I thought certainly she will remember the love that we shared. I got upset with her. And I said, "Isn't this enough? Isn't this enough? Let him go. Come back. Join me in this life. Join me in love. Return to love, and let this go. Our lives are being wasted. I said more. I attempted as best I could to convince her. She listened. And then, suddenly, as a tempest would blow in out of nowhere, a storm would come in after a calm, she blew up in a way that I had never seen her before. Her anger knew no bounds. She took some water and she said something over the water, and then she threw it over me. And when she did, there was vapor and a crackling in the air, and I ended up as you see me now. But she did not stop there. She turned the city into a lake, and all the inhabitants, the 4 races that found peace and harmony together in our city, she turned into those 4 colored fish. In the isles, she turned into mountains, and this desolate plain between my palace and the lake, she created so that there would be no way but a wasteland that I could never cross. She came back to tell me all this, to increase my torture. And then she's continued in her ways, somehow through her enchantments, keeping her favorite servant alive. But each day she comes and she beats me. She whips me with a buffalo rawhide whip. Every morning. Well, the Sultan listened. And he asked, where is this woman now? Where is she? Well, the king of the Black Isles said, well, she's close at hand in the garden where she stays, in the palace that I had made for her, where her favorite servant still lies, neither live nor dead, unable to utter a word, mortally wounded, but somehow some life within him. That is where she is. Well, the Sultan, he sat quietly for some time. And then he inquired again about the details of this life that the King of the Black Isles was living, when each day his former wife would come, the queen would come and beat him, and where she was living, where she could be found, where her favorite servant was living. And the Sultan formulated a plan. And he said to the King of the Black Isles, I'm going to do everything within my power to free you. Let us get a good night's sleep. And tomorrow we shall see what we shall see. Of course, Scheherazade stopped the story there again. Now, there's something I could have told you more. As you may remember, the genie remember the genie? How did he get shut up in that bottle? Why was he shut up in the bottle by Solomon? Perhaps I'll have to tell you that story as well, but we'll leave things here. And tomorrow we'll hear if the plan of the king or the plan of the Sultan for the King of the Black Isles is successful or not. Okay, have a good rest of your day or evening, and thanks for joining.